Do you consider the recent protests in Lebanon as evidence of latent political mobilization? Why now, and what role did human development play?
That's a tough question to answer. Every political system is different, every development context is different, and especially Lebanon with its complex political system. My wife's uncle Najib said, this is the moment where I'm just supposed to say, do I say Haida Lebanon? This is Lebanon. But I do think there is a relationship, and at the very least we could say this, that over time, from a human development perspective, from a transitional perspective, the garbage changes and the people change. So the garbage because you get more and more garbage with development, you get more of the type of garbage that does not go away. So things like plastics and bottles, which of course a lot of the conversation has been about recycling as well. At the same time, you have more and more people who don't want to host a landfill in their town, which is obviously the beginning of this particular crisis. That being said, obviously the political dynamics in Lebanon sort of explain why, say, the garbage crisis was not resolved in the time period that was given to initially resolve it. But so what I would say is, from the perspective that I'll be talking about today, human development definitely creates a new set of problems that are more challenging. They're bigger, people expect more, and it takes more effort. It takes things like recycling, new landfills, new technologies to handle them. And that's a challenge for any government, but particularly a government that is so fragmented. That being said, of course, the successful protest movement requires buy-in from a large number of parties, meaning political parties or parties of individuals. Right now, the political parties, of which there are many, don't seem very interested in the You Stink movement. So it's hard to know where it will go from here. But certainly, right, the type of challenge that we're seeing with the garbage crisis is exactly what you would expect to see as things progress during a period of transition.
What about the role of information technology? They facilitated political mobilization, but don't you think the uprisings would have happened without them?
I think that's, we can't say for sure. Information technology has to help, right? It moves people around more quickly. It helps people evade the authorities and things like that. On the other hand, we know from the example of Libya, right, that there was not a constant level of access to information technology. During the Libyan uprisings, there was very little information technology being used, and in some ways, the protesters were using the government's own paranoia and lack of access to information technology against them. So the lesson is, right, I think information technology can help speed things up. Human development obviously promotes access to information technology in a big way, but we've seen with things like the Green Revolution in Iran that the kinds of weak ties that are fostered by say Facebook postings or Twitter postings aren't always what you need. They help get people out on the streets, but do they help people stay on the streets and endure? I know in the US, Malcolm Gladwell had an amazing piece in the New Yorker comparing the Green Revolution in Iran to the civil rights movement in the southern US, and the types of strong ties that people in the south of the US were using to almost will each other, to dare each other to be audacious in standing up to this horrible regime of oppression and violence. These are the kinds of things that you foster through roommates, best friends, families, and you can broaden your net with information technology, but you're not going to build those kinds of ties. So it helps, but it's not. But it can be done without it, and in some cases we know information technology can be used against a movement very effectively.